And hello everybody, welcome along to this season's Champions League group stage watch along. Absolutely buzzing for this one. Really cannot wait. I'm surprised still a lot of Rangers fans probably on cloud nine after last night. And now we get into the business and to see who Rangers and Celtic are going to be taking on in the Champions League group stages. Guys, if you haven't already, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're going to talk about both Celtic and Rangers' chance here in the build-up. Talk about the teams that they can sort of face as we wait until the game or until sort of BT does the draw. As I say, BT will probably be focusing on the English teams a lot, and you guys are all Scottish football fans, so we'll discuss more of Rangers and Celtic's chances and more about the teams going into European football. But guys, as I say, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course, get your three teams that you want to play. Of course, both Rangers and Celtic will play one from pot 3, one from pot 2, and then one from pot 1. So pick out your three teams that you want to see. I've left the pots there on the screen so you can see who they can play. And as I say, let me know down there in the live chat who you fancy, your three teams, and I'll go through mine as well. But let's discuss it. We'll start with last night. Of course, Rangers joined the Champions League group stage after a decent performance against PSV Eindhoven. There's been a massive fallout in the Netherlands after PSV went out. They were very cocky. They were very arrogant to the Scottish game. Quite disrespectful as well to Rangers, considering they went to Europa League final last season, and serves them right. All the antics at the start with the fans trying to set fireworks off and just annoy the players. It just serves them right. They also, Rangers tried to get in a delayed kickoff. They didn't give them that either. So yeah, serves them right. And Rangers are the side that have gone into pot 4. Of course, Celtic have already been in pot 4 now since the end of last season. They won the Scottish Premiership and got a ticket straight into the group stages. So having a luxury this season, and a very unlikely sort of luxury in Scottish football, where they've not had to play any qualifiers. They've been focusing on the league and started very well, winning 4 games. And now, of course, now they find out who their opponents are going to be as well. As I just touched upon just a second ago, both of these sides, both Rangers and Celtic, will take on someone from pot 1, pot 2, and pot 3. I'm going to read a few here in the live chat to see what people are saying. Correct by default says Frankfurt, don't care, Rangers. I want PSG, Chelsea, Napoli. Good to see Greg Rushbrook. Good to see Stephen. Hope you're well. A lot of Rangers fans want Frankfurt. Let's see what the Celtic side of people want. What the Celtic fans want? There's Porto, Leipzig, and Benfica. Man City, Barca, Lisbon, says Ryan. So everyone's getting fairly excited here. Man City says Falconhoof. There we go. A lot of people mixed. I'm always more optimistic when it comes to draws. A lot of people are like, no, I just want the big teams. I just want the glamour ties. I just want to see my team play against the biggest sides in Europe. Whereas I'm more, I'd rather a decent side in there, so an English team, but then I would want 2 winnable ties. I look at Rangers and Celtic's ambitions, and in pot 4, look, it's difficult to qualify for the Champions League, but pot 3, the third place spot should definitely be the aim. We sent Rangers last season do fantastically well in the Europa League. And that should be the aim. Try and finish third. I'm not being a defeatist here. Obviously, try and aim for first and second. But look, if you finish third, then that's a good in the Champions League. Go in the Champions League, get your money, and then go into the Europa League and go on another little run there, going through in third place. But I'm going to give you my little who I would want, the ideal pot. I would say Frankfurt from pot 1. I think they've sold a lot of players this season. In this summer, they've sold a lot of star players, not really replaced them. And then in pot 2, I would take Chelsea. Chelsea, my younger brother, massive Chelsea fan, so and a lot of friends from school and stuff like that. Of course, I grew up down south, support Chelsea because that was sort of near enough the local side. So Chelsea there, just for an old rivalry. Then it's good to see a test against English sides as well. So Chelsea for sure. And then pot 3, I'm looking at Salzburg or Shakhtar Donetsk. Salzburg, I just feel, is a better option than majority of those. Benfica, Sporting, Bayer Leverkusen, Napoli, Dortmund, and Inter Milan, of course. And then Shakhtar Donetsk. Again, they're a good side, but they've lost a lot of players as well. And they're currently playing their home games out in Poland. So the fact that they're playing out there in Poland doesn't give them a home advantage. So there's a good opportunity there to try and win those games against your likes of Shakhtar Donetsk. But let's have a little look in the live chat, take some more comments from people. A lot of people want Frankfurt. Glasgow is green, says Sonny. To be honest, I don't care. Ibrox is back to being a fortress, and Celtic will do what normally happens, getting hammered every game. Well, okay, there we go. Celtic fans, do you think there's a turn of a tide now in Europe? Are you confident ahead of the Champions League this year? Be honest. And are you hoping? Let's be perfectly honest. Celtic haven't been great in Europe over the last couple of years, but are you hoping that this season is a chance to sort of turn a new chapter and make something happen this year? Look, it's obviously going to be hard for both Rangers and Celtic to qualify for the actual Champions League, but I mean, be competitive. Of course, you know, Rangers and Celtic could get pumped by Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich's, Real Madrid's, of course, but you want to be competitive with those sides in pot 3, and I said I'm looking at pot 2 there. That's howling as well. Pot 2 is stronger than pot 1. But yeah, do you think there's a tide turn there for you, Celtic? And Rangers, how far do you think you're going to get this year? Do you think Rangers are going to get to another magical final again this season? Let me know down there in the live chat. That's what people are saying. Falconoof says, hope so. Now I want to keep away from teams like Leipzig and their tight stadiums, says Falconoof. Frankfurt, Chelsea, anyone in pot 3, easy days. So yeah, he's going for similar to me, Darren S. I like that one. Frankfurt, Chelsea. I think it's quite good to have an English team just to see where you're at, just to see where you sort of are against the Premier League. And I know, obviously, into Scottish football and stuff like that, but you know, English Premier League is the best league in the world, and I know you're probably fed up with the English media talking about it, but that's where the most money's at, and is where all the best players are playing at the moment. So I would like to see both Rangers and Celtic come up against a decent English opposition. As I say, the English oppositions that they can come up against is Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham Hotspur. So that will be very, very interesting. Borussia Dortmund, of course, they're in pot 3 as well. Again, that could be a decent tie. I said decent tie. Rangers smashed them last year, and they've lost more players. You know, they've got Haller, who's obviously being diagnosed with a terrible sort of tumor sort of thing, and you know they're missing some key players. So that could be another tie there, and also a bit of a glamour tie. But I would always want to keep away from Dortmund when in Europe. Let's have a look, take some more comments here in the live chat. Let's see what people are saying. Yes, 1-1 on penalties is correct by default. If I had to choose Frankfurt, Chelsea and Sporting, says David Wallace. At least we are in, don't care, get thrashed against the greats. Mental atmospheres and great for the club and got the money. Yeah, but you want to be a bit more ambitious, I think, my friend. I think Rangers definitely proved last year that you can go toe-to-toe with some of Europe's greatest teams and go far in a European competition. So why not aim for third place? You know, it's all well and good getting to the Champions League. I'm the same. I like getting to the Champions League as well. But you're there, be competitive and try and make something happen. You know, it's what it's all about at the end of the day. Guys, if you are just joining us, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all that good stuff. The draw will begin in around 5 minutes. Well, you know what they're like, these things. They wheel out old legends and stuff like that, give their stories of their time at the top and all the rest of it. So it might be a bit of a delay, and especially with Rangers and Celtic being in pot 4, we will have to wait a little bit of time before all the teams get drawn out, and then etc, 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 etc. So we might be here for a little while, but we will eventually get there, guys. And if you are just joining in, as I say, pot 1, pot 2, pot 3 and pot 4, Rangers and Celtic will draw one from each of those pots. I'm going to go through some of the pot 1 sides in a second and talk about them. Same with pot 2 and same with pot 3. So, of course, Real Madrid, look, that's a glamour tie in itself. Everybody knows Real Madrid's probably one of the biggest teams in the world, and they've just won the Champions League, of course, last season. That's probably a team, obviously, to avoid in pot 1. However, it is a glamour tie. Bayern Munich, again, another big team there to avoid. They look fantastic this season. I think they've got like 15 goal difference in like 3 games already in the Bundesliga. So they've got players, you know, firing from all cylinders at the moment. They look like a side that could be favourites for the competition. PSG, again, another side. They look really, really good in Ligue 1 at the moment. I know people will say about Ligue 1, oh, it's a crap league or whatever, but sorry. I'm just going to turn down the volume. Two secs. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, my TV was so loud there, it was just blaring through. Yeah, sorry. What was I saying in terms of, PSG? A lot of people say about Ligue 1 and the standards and all the rest of that, but they look really, really good under their new manager. I think he just came from Lille, and he seems to have got Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe sort of playing together, and I think Neymar's got like 7 goals and 6 assists in like 4 games so far this season. So again, another side there to avoid. Manchester City, well, you'll know Manchester City just down south of the border, a very, very good team under Pep Guardiola, and again, another side to avoid. AC Milan, I don't look at them as a team to avoid. Yes, they won the Serie A last year, but I still don't think they're the ones. That's not the worst possible team to get from pot 1. FC Porto, again, another team. They won the Premier League last season, a good side, but again, have lost a couple of players, Fabio Vieira and co from to Arsenal. So they do sort of have a new team every year. Rangers actually beat them 2-0 at Ibrox as well. So again, I wouldn't be too scared of them. And then Ajax Amsterdam. Look, Ajax Amsterdam, as everybody will know on this channel, I have a lot of respect for Ajax Amsterdam. Probably like in people talk about sides in Europe that they like, don't support or anything like that. But teams that I like in Europe, Ajax is definitely like my sort of European team, if you like. I don't like using that terminology because you only support one team. But I'm very fond of Ajax. There you go. That's the word. But they've lost a lot of players this year. They lost to PSV Eindhoven in the Super Cup at the start of the season. Well, we got a £5 donation from Sonny, mate. Thank you so much. He just says you're welcome. £5 donation there, mate. Thank you so much. With Ajax as well. Ajax, they've got rid of a couple of players this year, and it looks like Anthony, another star player, could be leaving this summer to go to Manchester United. So Ajax could be a decent option there in pot 1. I feel like they may be like a similar level to PSV. I do think they're a bit better, but it's still unknown because they've got a new manager. They've just got rid of a good couple of players, and they've got a fairly new team now that they're trying to sort of embed in there. So Ajax could be a decent option there in pot 1, but I definitely look at Frankfurt as the best from pot 1. Of course, beat Rangers in the Europa League final. Rangers very, very unlucky. It was penalties. Penalties, anybody can win. It's a coin toss. One penalty kick decided the cup fate. But I felt Rangers held their own against them. And again, they're another side that have lost a couple of players this summer. They've sold one of their main men to Juventus. So again, they've not really signed anyone else. So they could be a good option there. I think their best option in pot 1. So I'd say best option is Frankfurt, then Ajax, then FC Porto, Milan, PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern. Now on to pot 2. Let's have a look at pot 2. So pot 2 is Liverpool, Chelsea, Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, RB Leipzig and Spurs. So again, Liverpool have started their Premier League season not in the best way. 2 draws and a defeat, obviously, to Manchester United on Monday night. However, I do know a lot about Liverpool, and Liverpool have got a lot of injuries at the moment. So don't expect that form to continue. They will return back firing from all cylinders very, very soon. They're perfectly fine. They just got a lot of injuries at the moment. So that could be a decent little battle of Britain there in pot 2. Chelsea, obviously under their new ownership at the moment. Roman Abramovich just left the football club. Got Todd Bowley in, brought in a few additions. They did lose to Leeds, and Leeds did beat them pretty convincingly on the weekend there. So I think that could be a decent option in pot 2. And I'm not belittling Chelsea by any means. Chelsea are a fantastic team. Thomas Tuchel's a great coach, and they've got some good players. But out of those teams in pot 2, especially out the English teams, I think they are the most unsettled. So that could be a decent option. Barcelona, again, they've spent so much money this summer with bringing in loads of players. They're going to be a different animal to last season. They've got Lewandowski there as well. And you know what he likes, this competition, Lewandowski. I don't think Barcelona are going to be a side that are going to win the Champions League this year, but they're definitely a hard opposition to play in pot 2. Juventus, again, they're sort of in transition. Obviously came 4th, I think, last year in the Serie A, or 3rd, or one of the two. But they are in pot 2 there as well. I feel like Juventus could be a decent option. I'm still not overly convinced with them in terms of Juve, especially even when Ronaldo was there as well. They've not been that great. Juve are a team that could be a decent, as I say, it could be a decent option. I said them last year. I think they lost to Zenit St. Petersburg. So they are a beatable side. Paul Pogba's got a long-term injury. So again, another option there. Atleti, I'd say one to avoid. Atletico Madrid, very, very good side. Always come up with the goods in this competition, usually, especially at the group stage, no problem. Sevilla, Sevilla are Sevilla. Sevilla are a good side. Usually finish third, drop into the Europa League. But they're a good Champions League outfit. And yeah, they do pretty well in this competition. Leipzig, last season. Rangers fans will know all about Leipzig from last year. Leipzig, Rangers obviously beat them at Ibrox and lost the home leg, but yeah, beat Leipzig. They've not really started the season that well, to be perfectly honest. They've got Christopher Nkunku. They just brought in Timo Werner as well, but I still feel that is a decent option there from pot 2 RB Leipzig. And then Spurs are Spurs. Antonio Conte, great manager. Spurs usually qualify from the Champions League groups year in, year out, and they look like a bit of a different animal this year. You know, 2 world-class players, Kane, Son, and they could be one to avoid. But if you want the Battle of Britain, they're there. Let's keep these. Group. What do you guys want in the live chat, guys? Keep them coming through. Who do you want to see your team play? One from pot 3, one from pot 2, and one from pot 1. What time's the draw? The draw, as I said, it will probably be within 15 minutes time. They wheel out a guy to talk about the draw for about 15 minutes and give all the rules and all the rest of this sort of stuff, and then they'll get underway. So it shouldn't be too long, but as I said, I'll keep you up to date as soon as the draw gets us started. Right, moving on to pot 3. Now, this is the one where I look at, you know, this is an opportunity where you want the nice favourable draw. So if you get like 2 like sort of glamour ties in pot 1 and 2, pot 3, you want a side there that you can beat. As look, as I said, Rangers and Celtic ambition, of course, they want to qualify for the last 16. But what I'm saying is, it's likely the Europa League is probably the best option, or the most realistic option for both Rangers and Celtic. Dortmund, of course, Rangers beat them last season. They have lost Haaland now, and they're having a few problems there. They've started the season not so well. They had a 2-0 lead against Werder Bremen, ended up losing 3-2 at the weekend, but still one of those teams to avoid, especially there in pot 3, because Dortmund can be quite good in this competition. Salzburg, I think, a favourable tie there. In pot 3, they're a decent side. They are Champions League regulars. Usually when they're Austrian Bundesliga, always get a golden ticket straight into the group stages, and that's why they're there. But they're a decent side. But, you know, I could certainly not am feared by them at all. I think they're definitely a winnable team there. Shakhtar Donetsk, again, this is an interesting one. They've lost a lot of players over the last... since the situation broke out in Ukraine. They're currently playing their home games in Poland, so they won't have a home advantage. So I would say that's the best from pot 3, in my personal opinion. Again, they're in the Champions League because they won their domestic division. Doesn't necessarily mean they're very good at knockouts. It isn't like 2014-15 when they always used to linger around there. I do think Shakhtar could be a decent option. Inter, a great side there again. They've just got Romelu Lukaku, finished second in Serie A. I'd say one to avoid from pot 3. Same with Napoli. Napoli can always turn it on. Benfica, they look pretty good. They have lost a couple of players. Obviously lost Darwin Núñez to Liverpool. But again, they still look strong. They always usually find a way to do good in this competition. But Rangers, I think, held their own to them twice in the Europa League a couple of years back. I think got 2 draws. I think unlucky not to win those games, actually, if I think back to it. I think they were a good tie there. And then Sporting Lisbon, depending on if Cristiano Ronaldo goes there, who knows. And then Bayer Leverkusen, Celtic and Rangers will both know them well. Celtic played them last season. I think they did pretty well against them away from home. They lost 4-0 to Bayer Leverkusen at Celtic Park. But the game away from them, I think they lost the game as well, but they did have a 2-0 lead, or I think they may have drew the last game against Bayer Leverkusen. They did have a 2-0 lead, sort of bottled it towards the end, but they were able to sort of hold their own in that match against Bayer Leverkusen. So I wouldn't be too scared of Leverkusen if they come out the hat, but you know, they're still a decent side. And then obviously pot 4 is Rangers, Celtic, Dinamo Zagreb, Marseille, Copenhagen, Club Brugge, Victoria Pleasant, and Maccabi Haifa. Let's have a little look in here, guys. Let's see, take some live chat comments. I choose Rangers to progress further only because they have a winning European mentality over the last couple of seasons. Jazz to get pumped in all the games, says KP Boy. Celtic fans turn in to see who pieces in the Champions League. Keeping it coming, guys. Keep these coming, guys. Keep your live chats coming through. And as I say, they are just sort of giving the introduction to the Champions League group stage, and we'll get underway here very, very, very soon. As I say, it is usually a show that they put on here as they give out awards and all the rest of that crap. So Hopefully, we'll be underway here very, very soon. But we have gone through it all. And who do you fancy? Go on, guys. Get your teams down there. I know there's going to be a lot of neutrals in here, not just Rangers and Celtic fans, which are more than welcome along, guys. But as I say, please let me know who you fancy in the group stage. I would say Frankfurt, Chelsea, and Shakhtar would be my one. Frankfurt, Chelsea, and Shakhtar would be my ideal group. Champions League is a major step up. Forget last season, says Brown Warrior. Yes, it's a step up, of course, but there was a lot of Champions League opposition in the Europa League last year where Rangers can take confidence from. Dortmund, as you can see, are a Champions League team. Leipzig, as you can see, they're a Champions League team. So, you know, they beat them both across two legs, so can take confidence. I wouldn't begrudge what Rangers did last year. There's, you know, Leipzig got to the semi-final a couple of years back. Dortmund are always there or thereabouts in the knockout round, so yeah, take confidence from it. Rangers also beat FC Porto, so there's another scalp there. Held their own against Frankfurt. So there are teams in there that you can take confidence from for sure. Benfica held their own against them as well. So yeah, it is there. It is there for sure. Take some comments in here, guys, just before we get underway. Nicola, Dortmund says, without Haaland. Frankfurt, Liverpool, Shakhtar, says CC. 100 days ago, Rangers were in the Europa League final. I'm certainly will make it to the last 16. Feel very confident, says DJ. Red Star gubbed by the Teddy, says G. Thompson. I would like to see Ajax, Chelsea, Napoli, and Celtic or Porto, Seville, Inter Milan, and Rangers. Okay, I see a lot of Ajax fans in here. What did you make of the game last night? Were you happy with that? What's the fallout been in Dutch football lately with regards to PSV? I'd seen PSV were very disrespectful to the Scottish game in terms of the press. The Ajax fans were very welcoming to Rangers at Asin, but it looked like the Dutch press were very, very rude towards the Scottish game, which very disrespectful, sorry. And Joey Veerman, I liked Veerman as a guy. I thought he was a decent little player, but the way he was coming out with those comments after the match just sounded like a sore loser. And he didn't really stand out yesterday at all for PSV. So serves him right. What an absolute idiot, man. An absolute idiot. They're still giving the introduction. I think they've got an AC Milan guy just going through his history of the competition. Of course, AC Milan, famous team in the Champions League. I think they've won 7 Champions League titles. So it just goes to show how well and how good they do in this sort of competition. Won the Serie A last year. They could, again, be a force to be reckoned with once more. I don't think they've added too much quality to their team, but as I say, I wouldn't necessarily avoid them from pot 1 for sure. It's the ones from pot 1 you're looking at is Real, Bayern, PSG, and City. Look at the teams we've beaten: Feyenoord, PSV, Porto, Galatasaray, Red Star, Red Bull, Borussia Dortmund, Braga, to name a few. Celtic can't say the same, says the Blue Baroon. Joey Veerman, little weed, says Gary. So William, he was saying that Rangers didn't deserve to go through after the competition. He's like, they didn't create any chances. We should be in the Champions League. But they didn't score goals. You're allowed to have a good goalkeeper as well. McLaughlin made a couple of saves. They didn't put anything away. So he can't come out and say those sort of things that he deserves to be in the Champions League because they didn't win the tie across 2 legs. If they deserved, they would have won both the matches. But look, there's only one team in the Netherlands, and that's Ajax Amsterdam. So it's I'm glad Rangers did the Ajax fans a decent job to get them some more money as well. I'm trying to have a look through some more of these live chats here. Bayern, Sevilla, Sporting, Dinamo. I'm a Dinamo fan. Yeah, congratulations to Dinamo Zagreb, by the way. That's fantastic to see. I do fly the flag for the smaller divisions. I like the smaller divisions. It's great to see some of the smaller sides in there. Not to say Dinamo Zagreb are small, but from from a country perspective in terms of the European football landscape. I think, yeah, Dinamo Zagreb, to see them there again, that's great to see. A decent result last night against Bodo Glimt. Had to overturn a 1-0 deficit from the first leg, and they certainly did that. So fair play to Dinamo Zagreb there, and thoroughly deserved. Let's talk about some of the pot 4 teams as well. I know Rangers and Celtic can't meet some of these pot 4 sides, but you're looking at some of these teams here. Marseille, that's a tricky one. You know, I think a lot of the big boys, if they get Marseille in pot 4, that's quite a big tie. That's quite a big team in pot 4. It really is. I think they're certainly one to avoid within pot 4. Club Brugge there as well, obviously the Belgian champions. They did great last year. I think they beat PSG actually. So again, there may be another little side to avoid. But I do think a lot of the big teams, and I'm not going to speak on Real Madrid's behalf, nor am I going to speak on Man City's behalf or Bayern Munich's behalf. But I think they'll be looking at maybe Rangers as one to avoid in terms of pot 4 because of what Ibrox showcased last season. It was very, very... It was very, very magical. The atmosphere, and we've seen Rangers take a lot of scalps. So I don't think a lot of the big sides will be favouring to have Rangers there in pot 4. And Celtic can turn it on. They've just not really shown it over the last couple of years. But look, they've got a new manager under Ange Postecoglou. They didn't do too bad in Europa League last year in a tough group. Yeah, they got knocked out of the Conference League, but you know, they could turn a new tide and really focus on the Champions League this year. So again, Celtic's another place where the big boys will probably go, you know what, I don't want to go to Celtic Park. It's going to be, you know, hostile. It's going to be a tough place to go. So yeah, I do think some of the big teams will be looking at that. But then again, I know a lot of the English sides will be looking at that and going, you know what, I want to battle Britain and see what it's like for the atmosphere and all the rest of it. Victoria Pleasant. Okay, that's another decent side. I don't really usually see them here often, but you know, that they've qualified, which is good to see from another smaller nation. And Maccabi Haifa, I think they got one of the big upsets. Did they? I can't remember who they beat. I think they beat someone quite favoured to go through. Oh, I've just gone mind blank there. Someone let me know who Maccabi Haifa beat. But again, an Israeli side there as well to the Champions League, which is also great to see. No team will fancy coming to Ibrox. We are strong at home and have been the last 2 seasons. Celtic already spent their Champions League money. Never thought Rangers would get there, says Chekamakis. Pro Gamer, good to see you, my friend. Knocked out of the Conference Leagues, somebody. Typical. I can't see Tony. Tony's not here. But I think we're about to get underway here, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of getting ready for the draw. They're going to go through the rules and all that sort of stuff. So I do feel we might be here for a little while longer as we get ready, because they're bringing out Hamit Antilop. He's coming out. He's probably going to be a part of the draw panel. So we probably won't be concluded here until about 6 o'clock. But look, it is what it is. We'll just try and talk about as much as we can until then. It's still exciting and enjoy the process. 2 secs. I'll change my account so I got my... Oh, the Champions League trophy is coming onto the stage. Okay, just out of an interest then, who do you think will win the Champions League this year? Let me know down there in the live chat. Who do you think will win the Champions League this year? Is it going to be Real Madrid? Are they going to retain the title? Is it going to be a Bayern Munich? They look fantastic this year. They really do. Is it finally going to be PSG? Is it finally going to be Manchester City? Are Liverpool going to be getting to the final again? Chelsea, you know, champions of the world at the moment. Are they going to get there? Is Conte going to turn around Spurs' fortunes? Or are we going to see a side from pot 3? Are we going to see a side like Dortmund get up there? Inter Milan? Napoli? Or, dare I say it, an underdog, a Rangers or a Celtic getting there? Of course, I can't see that happening. But look, who do you think is going to win the Champions League, guys? Let me know down there in the live chat. Someone says City. Real Madrid, says John Moffat. Ian says Rangers, of course. LGB says Tottenham. Can't see Tottenham winning it, unfortunately, there. I would like to see someone different win it. I would like to see someone different win it for a change. I would like to see somebody a bit different from years gone by win the Champions League. You look at recently, Real Madrid, of course, won it last season. Bayern won it the year before. The year before that. Sorry, the COVID season. PSG not won it yet. Frankfurt not won it. Man City not won it yet. Got to the final against Chelsea, got beat. Porto back in 2004, against AS Monaco, I think it was. that was probably the last side outside the top 5 divisions that actually won the Champions League. That will always go down as a great achievement. I remember that team, Jose Mourinho with Deco and all of that, Carvalho. Liverpool got there last year. Jurgen Klopp's got a knack of getting to the final of that competition. 3 finals for him, 1 win. Could Liverpool be there again? Chelsea under Tuchel, could they get there again? Barca, are they going to go back up there and try and challenge? The last time Barca won, it was 2015, MSN. I remember that deadly front 3 against Juventus. Juventus, it's been a long time since they have won the Champions League. A long time, in fact. Merchant says Man City will win it. I hear everybody say Man City are always going to win it. I hear it every year, but they never win. They never do they? They never win it. You know what I mean? Maybe it could be their year eventually, but I'm favouring towards Bayern. This year. I just think the addition of Sadio Mane, they just look really, really good this season, Bayern. I know that the league isn't a great way to go off, but there's this. I think they've scored 15 goals in their last 3 games. They just look like a different animal. And I watched a video regarding Bayern and the Bundesliga in terms of Lewandowski, when Lewandowski was there. Lewandowski scored so many goals for Bayern, of course, but did hold back the team because everyone had to work to sort of play him into the side, especially in this sort of earlier years. So they are sort of firing from all cylinders at the moment for Bayern. So I'm going to go with Bayern Munich for my winners this year. I really think that they can go on and lift the trophy. Ajax again, maybe, semi-final. So unlucky that year of not getting to the final. Remember, I was living down in London at the time, and the Ajax fans, I lived in North London, and the Ajax fans were excellent just on the streets of London. I just felt so sorry for them right at the end as well. It was just horrible. It was a sickening moment for Ajax, so close to getting to the final, and Spurs nicked it right at the end. But could have signed outside the top 6. Finally get to a Champions League final again. They've wheeled out old Yaya Toure. He's here as well. Going to be giving his thoughts on the competition as we're about to talk about this one. As I say, Rangers and Celtic fans, you're going to be here a tiny bit of a while with it. Last ones that get wheeled out. So, just in the... just rocked up, won a ticket and in the pot, that's what it's all about. Spurs dark horses, says Juliet. I'd say Spurs more for domestic success rather than the Champions League. I feel like under Conte, has especially proved it at Chelsea, Juventus, Inter, that he's very, very good at winning domestic leagues and stuff like that, and cups and all the rest of it. But when it comes to European football, he's not so good. Not to say that he's not good, but his record in Europe isn't the best. I know he got to a Europa League final with Inter Milan, but I don't think he's ever won a European trophy as a manager. I think he's a lot better domestically rather than in Europe. So I can't see Spurs winning it, I don't think. But then again, who knows? To be fair, Dan, we're used to waiting on these draws for the Champions League, says Brown Warrior. Well, they take ages. I don't think they're probably going to get us underway here till 5:30 because they've got to give all the rules out. They've got to talk about all the bits and pieces that go along the way with it. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. But guys, let me know who you support down there in the live chat. As I say, everyone's welcome, whether you're a neutral Rangers Celtic fan or just a Scottish football fan in general. Everyone's welcome here on the channel to watch on. And I will be providing you who the teams are going to draw as it goes on. But as I say, please do hit the like button. And as I say, if you're into Scottish football, do subscribe to the channel as well. Rangers and Celtic will raise their game against the English clubs, says the Blue Baroon. I would love a Battle of Britain. I think that's the one scalp that Rangers are missing, actually. They beat teams from Germany. Actually, they've not beat anyone from Italy. Germany. Oh, they've not really beat anyone from Spain either, actually. Just saying that. But yeah, I feel like England is the one scalp that Rangers will want to get. And here he comes. The man is coming out, and we're about to get underway here for the actual draw. And as I said, they'll read the rules out about how they're going to pull the balls out of pot 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. And then we'll finally get underway. But here he is in to talk about this one. For those of you that want a bit of a European fix tonight, we will be live a bit later on for Heart of Midlothian versus Zurich in the Europa League. So do stick around for that one if you so wish. Hearts with the Europa League, and that draw will be done on Friday should they be there. If not, then it will be in the Europa Conference League. But here's Giorgiaro Marchetti as he's about to do the draw here. Probably one of the most exciting parts of being a football fan is the Champions League draw. It's just something special, a special moment. That's why there's so many people here in this live stream as well, and millions watching worldwide in terms of the draw, just to see who their side get, because it is the best competition. It really is. And here we go. He's going to talk about it. The Rangers representatives. Okay, because as I say, Scottish football, guys. With Celtic have spent a lot of money on players with Carter Vickers, Jota, of course, some of the Champions League money. Not to say they've spent all of it, because they haven't, but they've brought in a fair few additions, spent big on some players. Do Rangers need to now spend a bit big on some players? They've not even touched the Europa League money this summer, let alone the Champions League money now. Where would you feel that Rangers can strengthen going into the final 7 days of the transfer window? Who do you think that they could? Who do you think they could acquire? Let me know down there in the live chat. How many players do you think Rangers should sign before the summer transfer window? And do you think they will spend big on a couple of players? That's it. And here we go. As I say, they're giving the rules, and I will give you the rules as follows for those of you just joining in. So there will be a team from pot 1, people from pot 1, of course, it's going to be country protected. So teams from pot 1 will be drawn out, then followed by pot 2, pot 3, and pot 4. As I say, you can never face anyone in the same pot as you, and obviously countries are protected, i.e. Manchester City can't play Liverpool even though they're in different pots. Rangers can't play sort of Celtic. Sporting can't play FC Porto. So there is country protection in the group stage and the final in the last 16 as well. And I say pot 1 will be drawn into out first, then pot 2, then pot 3, then pot 4, and country protection will be there in place as well. So red and blue groups as well. Okay, so for country protection as well. So this is for Rangers and Celtic fans. In terms of TV protection, in terms of what's going to go on in terms of the television, obviously Rangers and Celtic will play on opposite days. So if Celtic play on the Tuesday, Rangers will then play on the Wednesday. So their pots will go in accordance with that. So there is no clashes when it comes to TV revenue. So Rangers and Celtic will never play on the same day as each other in the Champions League. One day will be on a Tuesday and one team will be on the Wednesday. It'll be like that. And that's it, really. As I say, they're going through the rules for country protection. And we'll go through it all here. Rangers need another striker and a big centre-back, says Paul Harper. They've only spent 1 billion since Red. Be interesting to see how Ange sets his team up for the Champions League. Rangers can attack, defend, and adapt. Celtic are one-trick pony and not good trick ponies, says Encourage Solutions. People interested, the different opinions on how they're all going to be setting up in the Champions League. Again, look, yeah, I mean, Celtic have to give it a go. They have to be a bit different. Years gone by, it just hasn't worked for whatever reason. Give Celtic some credit from last season in the Europa League. They weren't actually that bad. They were fairly unlucky. There was in terms of the points total that they sort of gathered, they did get quite a few points in the Europa League. But yeah, I mean, the Conference League was terrible, especially that home performance. I think it was 3-1 on the night. So yeah, they do need to improve, but I'm sure Celtic fans will be the first to admit to say that they need to improve in the Champions League. And I'm sure Ange will have a different approach maybe going into the games against these sorts of sides, but we'll see. But anyway, guys, we're about to get underway now here for the draw. I think they're going through the pot 1 teams. They're going to give an introduction, a video introduction for all the teams, and then we're finally going to put them into each other's groups. Right, they're showing Frankfurt. I can't be looking at this right now because they're going to show that Europa League trophy lift. 150 million plus from November, actually, says Kyle H. So there you go. There's a lot of money. Yeah, Rangers definitely got a lot of money in the bank at the moment in terms of that Europa League run last year, player sales, and obviously now the Champions League. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Oh, Paris Saint-Germain. Will Messi lift the Champions League? It's going to be weird. Ronaldo's not going to be in the Champions League this year unless he gets a late transfer somewhere. But looking at the sides, who's he realistically going to go to? Real, no. Bayern, no. Frankfurt, no. PSG, no. City, no. Porto, no. Ajax, no. Milan, maybe. Liverpool, no. Leti, no. Chelsea, there was rumours. Sevilla, no. Leipzig, no. Spurs, no. Juve, no. Barca, no. Dortmund, no. Napoli, no. Salzburg, no. Benfica, yeah. So it's very unlikely that he's actually going to be going. Sporting Lisbon's probably the only side there that I could see Ronaldo actually going to, which is going to be interesting to see Cristiano miss out on Champions League football for the first time in his thingy. But anyway, guys, we're underway here now for it. And as I say, pot 1 is going to be drawn out first. And they're going to be putting to groups A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And then that is how it will be. Then we'll do pot 2, pot 3, and then pot 4. The main event, Rangers and Celtic. So the first name out of the hat here is Ajax Amsterdam. Ajax Amsterdam, my friends in Amsterdam. Ajax, it looks as though they're going to be going into Group A. No, sorry, where are they going? Yeah, Group A, is it? Yeah, Ajax are in Group A. There you go, Ajax Amsterdam fans. First name out of the hat, Ajax Amsterdam. As I say, this bit's the boring bit because there is no clashes that are going to be made up at this point. It's literally just the names out of the hat, and that is it. Will Rangers try and get Ronaldo? No, I don't think so, mate. I'd love to see it, but no, I don't. Never see that happening. He ain't going to play in Scottish football. The second name out of the hat, of course, is FC Porto. FC Porto is the second name out of the hat. Group B. Porto are in Group B. Third name is Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are the next side out of the hat. As I say, this is the boring bit. Nothing really happening in terms of actually clashes being acquired. They're just putting the big dogs into their group and then they're just going to lay there. It starts getting interesting when pot 2 sort of comes out and then you start to see, oh, that's the group I would avoid. That's the group I would rather like, etc., etc. Now here comes Yaya Torre. He's going to pull out the next name out of the hat. There it comes out. But a little while yet left for Rangers and Celtic. Eintracht Frankfurt are the next ticket out of the hat. They go into Group D. Say Frankfurt, the Europa League winners last year. Still makes me sick to my stomach. Now keeping it coming. Still pulling them all out. We're nearly done with the pot 1 sides, which is good. And we'll be moving on and see what clashes actually come about. We want Celtic to get the teams we beat last season to see how well they would do against them and if they can get the points, says Gary. Difference between Rangers and Celtic is Celtic haven't proved anything. We got to a European final last season and played 2 qualifiers and qualified, proving they're a Champions League team, says Kyle H. Group F. Real Madrid go into Group F. Come on, just get on the way with it, man. Let's go. Yeah. He's been very, very delicate with opening these Champions League balls and getting the tickets out. Manchester City. And then we've got one last team, which will, of course, be PSG. And then that will be us in terms of pot 1. Then we can move on to the tasty part of pot 2. Ooh, it's getting exciting. Yeah, and PSG, there you go. Final team out of the hat there. Ready to go. PSG, the last name out. And there's your 6 sides there's your 8 sides and are going to be split into the groups that are as follows. I'll just wait for the confirmation and we'll go through which each of these teams are in. But pot 2 is going to be coming out now. Of course, Liverpool are in pot 2. Chelsea, pot 2. Barcelona, Juve, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, RB Leipzig, and Tottenham Hotspurs are in pot 2. So these 8 teams are going to be drawn out next. You're behind, Dan, says someone. Am I? Ah, well, I don't think I'm that far behind, mate. This is boring as anything. Yeah. Well, maybe the stream is as well. But yeah, there's nothing going on. That's why we're waiting for it. They do draw out this process. I think they're going to try and get to 6 o'clock. So that's their probably aim. It's not all going to be concluded till about 6 o'clock probably. So that's what we're sitting on waiting on. But pot 2 is about to commence now anyway. And we can start talking about the ones to avoid pretty early on. When you see pot 2, you go, oh, I would rather avoid that one. I'd like that one, etc., etc. So we'll have a little looks and see. But we'll give you the chances. It is a 1 in 4 chance that Rangers and Celtic get an English team in the Champions League this year, which is pretty exciting. No, not a 1 in 4 chance. It's a 50% chance. 50% chance. There you go. 50% chance that Rangers and Celtic get an English team. But anyway, here we go. Pot 2. Yaya is underway. Pulls the name out of the hat. And it's RB Leipzig. Leipzig are the first name out, and they can go into either E, F, G, or H. So they're going to be doing the draw for that now. Gareth says, donates £5.40. By the way, thank you for the donation. Says, just wanted to say congratulations to all of the Rangers fans in the chat. You've come a long way over the past 10 years, and you should be very proud. Again, thank you for your donation there, my friend. He's being very particular with this draw as well, this man. Group F. So there you go. RB Leipzig are going into Group F. And they will take on Real Madrid. So there you go. Real Madrid and RB Leipzig, they're in Group F. Already, you're sort of seeing that as a pot 2 side. You know what? I wouldn't mind, but obviously Real Madrid are the big dogs in that hat. Next team out of the hat now for pot 2 is Juventus. Juventus are the second side out of the hat. And they can only play in either G or H. So they're going to either be playing Paris Saint-Germain or I can't see the other one. But they're either going to be playing Paris Saint-Germain or another option. I'll just let you know who that's going to be. But as I say, Juventus are in Group H. So there you go. Already a tasty tie there. And already a group of death contender. Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain. So there you go. Group H is already probably the one to avoid so far. PSG and Juventus. Ooh. That's tasty. That is a tasty group. Next team out of the hat is as follows. Who's it going to be? Spurs. Spurs are the next team out of the hat here. Tottenham Hotspur. What is a Hotspur? And they can only go into Group E. They're already clashed there with A, B, C, and D. So they're going straight into Group E. And they're going to take on... 2 seconds. We'll find out who they're going to be playing. Didn't even know who was in Group E. Oh, in fact, they can play in 4 groups. Sorry, I'm chatting absolute heat there. They can play out of 1 out of 4 groups. But Spurs are going to be going into Group D. Spurs are in Group D. Tottenham Hotspur, Group D. And that is playing against Eintracht Frankfurt. So there you go. Already you're looking at that one. Not too bad. Not too bad there. Group D is not too bad. Obviously, Spurs are a great side. But, you know, out of those 2, out of what could have been, you're looking at Group D is not too bad. Group H is a potential group of death, but yeah, you're looking at Group D there as a decent one. Liverpool are drawn out next, and they can play in either Group A, B, or C. So it's either Ajax. Well, that could be a potential one there. We're going to find out which group Liverpool are going to go into. Liverpool are going to play... Liverpool are in A. Ajax Amsterdam. Ajax Liverpool. Ajax and Liverpool. That's a tasty one. That's a tasty one. But then again, I don't look at that one as a complete group of death. You know, as I say, I've got so much respect for Ajax, but they are in transition at the moment. Lost a fair few players over the summer, along with Anthony. He looks like he's going to be going to Manchester United. So, you know, that one's already shaping up to be an all right group. I know Liverpool are a great side, but you know, it's a decent one. The next side out of pot 2 is Sevilla. Sevilla can either play in Group B, C, or G. So Sevilla, again, another side there I look at. They're a good team, but they're not the best in pot 2. We go. Pulling out the next name, the group here for Sevilla. Sevilla will be playing G. They go into Group G. Sevilla are in Group G, and they will take on Manchester City. Manchester City and Sevilla, they're in Group G. Group G. Now here we go for another one. The next name out of the hat is Barcelona. Wow, here we go. Barcelona are the next name out of the hat here. And they can only go into either Group B or C. So Barcelona have 2 options, either B or C. I actually remember the group stage last year was botched, wasn't it? They had to redo it. Hopefully we don't have that here today. But yeah, Barcelona are out next. And they go into Group C. Barcelona are into Group C. And Group C is with Bayern Munich. So there you go, another group of death there. So Group C and Group C and Group H are already the ones you want to avoid. But it's going to be a big tie there between Bayern Munich and Barcelona there in the Champions League. What a tie that could be. Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Next one is Chelsea. Chelsea are the next name out of the hat. Chelsea. In fact, I think they are the last. No, they're not. There's one more side to go. Atletico Madrid as well. But Chelsea are in Group E. Group E is Chelsea, AC Milan, and Chelsea. So Chelsea take on the Serie A champions. That could be a tasty little tie. But I think Chelsea fans will look at that like, not too bad, not too shabby. And then the final one to conclude pot 2, it is Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, and they are going to be playing Porto. So there you go, Atletico Madrid and FC Porto. So already here, we've got a few groups with some ones that you want to avoid. So Group C with Barcelona and Bayern Munich is one to avoid, obviously. And then, of course, Group H as well, if you're Rangers or Celtic. That's Juventus and PSG. So already the two groups to avoid for me are those ones. Anyway, we're about to get underway with pot 3. I'll be 2 seconds. We're going to get underway here for pot 3. Sorry, guys, back again. Just had to go for a quick piss. But yeah, ready to go here for pot 3. Pot 3 is the next one. And as I said, the teams that are in pot 3 are Dortmund, Salzburg, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter Milan, Napoli, Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, and Bayer Leverkusen. So there you go. There's your pot 3. But yeah, guys, 2 group of deaths already. Is C and H. I wonder who Dortmund and Napoli are going to go find. And Inter Milan, sorry. Those 3 will probably make up Group H and make it really, really difficult. But anyway, here we go. Champions League. Pot 3. Getting closer to Rangers and Celtics. Fate. We've got one more pot to go, though. And the group will be sort of made up. And the first name out of the hat for pot 3 is Napoli. Napoli are in the first name out of the hat. And they can only go into A, B, C, or D. And they can go into C. That would make a really, really, really tricky group if Napoli go into Group C, by the way. Here we go. They've got a 1 out of 4 chance. Could they be going into the group of death? A. They go into A. So yeah, no group of death for Napoli. It's Group A. And that's shaping up to be a decent little group, actually. That's Ajax, Liverpool, and Napoli. It's very, very competitive in that group. I do think Liverpool probably dominate. And so far looks like maybe Ajax. I don't know. It's a difficult one. Napoli are always sort of quite turbulent in where they're playing football, so I never actually gauge where they actually are as a club, but I usually see their name there or thereabouts. Next name out the hat is FC Salzburg, the only side representing Austria, and Salzburg have the option of all 7 groups. They can go into anyone as they are the only Austrian side here in the Champions League group stage draw, and as I say, they can go into it, but if they go into one of the favourable groups, I think then Rangers and Celtic might go, you know what, I want to get into that group there. Let's see. And now here's the draw for this one. And it's going to be E. Group E for Salzburg. Group E for Salzburg. They're going to go in with AC Milan, Chelsea, and of course themselves as Salzburg. So that group's shaping up nicely already. Again, that's still one to maybe avoid. I don't know. I mean, I look at AC Milan and sort of fancy chances, but then again, the Serie A champions. I know I'm being a bit cocky there, but you know that's still a tough group. Benfica are the next side out of pot 3. Sorry. It's now Benfica, and they have the option of F, G, and H. They're going to be going into one. If they go into H, that could be a horrible group, by the way. H, PSG. Ooh. Either way, Benfica are going into Benfica go into Group H. Oh, that's a group of death. That is your group of death. There we go. Group H. Stinking. PSG, Juventus, and Benfica. Oh, that's howling. That's a stinking group. Group H is one to definitely avoid. Ooh. Next name out of the hat is Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund are only eligible, I think, for Group F. Oh, sorry, G. They're going into Group G. Manchester City, Sevilla, and Dortmund. There you go. Manchester City, Sevilla, and Dortmund. City, Sevilla, and Dortmund. Ooh, that's quite a tough little group as well, actually. Sevilla, Dortmund. Next one. Next name out the hat is Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen have only one option that they can go to, and that's Group B. So Leverkusen are in a group with Porto, Atletico Madrid, and Bayer Leverkusen. So there you go. Another little group there that's getting assembled. Couple more balls left of pot 3, guys, and then it's over to pot 4 with Rangers and Celtic. Thank you for being patient. Sporting Lisbon are eligible for 3 groups, C, D, and F. They are going to go into I don't think there's any particularly easy groups this year. Sometimes you look at it and go, yeah, I wouldn't mind that one. But this year, it doesn't really look that easy. Not easy, by the way. I'm just saying one where you stand a chance of maybe winning a game. But they go into Group D. So Sporting Lisbon are into Group D. And that's Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham, and Sporting Lisbon. I do think that's the favourable group at the moment. I really do. Group D is probably the one that you want if you want the better chance of getting through. Sporting Lisbon, Spurs, and Frankfurt. Shakhtar Donetsk is the next name out of the hat. Shakhtar Donetsk is the next name out of the hat. And Shakhtar are going to be going straight into Group F and are going to be taking on Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, and Shakhtar Donetsk. So that's another one there. I look at Group F as another one that, could be an option. Yeah, got Real Madrid there, the champions, of course. But I look at the other sides and think, you know what? They're doable. Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk. I think that could be a decent group there. So I'm looking at D already. D and F are the most favourable ones. H and C are honking. As Inter Milan have just gone into the group of death. Group of death there. That's the proper group of death. Bayern, Barca, Inter Milan. That is howling. Group C. Group C is the most stinking one. Bayern, Barca, and Inter Milan. That is howling group. That's horrible group. I say now it's C and H to avoid. C and H are the ones to avoid. D and F are the best ones to get. And we are about to get underway here for pot 4, ladies and gentlemen. And now here we go. It's getting tasty. It is getting really, really tasty. Pot 4. Good to see there with Rangers and Celtic. Here we go. As I said, the teams in pot 4 are as follows. Rangers, Dinamo Zagreb, Marseille, Copenhagen, Club Brugge, Celtic, Victoria Pleasant, and Maccabi Haifa. Oh, it's an absolute howler of a group is C. Please do not be C. Please. C and H. I don't want C and H. C and H. No way. No way. The other group, I say Real Madrid one. The one with F is the best one. No H. No, please don't be C. Please don't be C. Please don't be C. Please don't be C or H. Please don't be C or H. Please don't be C or H. Please, 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 don't be. Don't be, don't be. I want to stand a chance. No C or H. Anyway, here we go. Pot 4 is underway. Oh, I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous. Here we go. Pot 4. And here we go. We're about to get underway for the draw. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? This is where Rangers and Celtic fate lies. The first name out of the hat is... The first name out of the hat is... Celtic. Celtic are the first name out of the hat. They have the option of all of the 8 groups. Celtic are the first name out of the hat. As I say, they have the option out of all 8 groups here. Who are they going to get? Who are they going to get? Celtic. Celtic. Who are they going to get? A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, or H? Celtic are going into Group F. Celtic are going into Group F. That's a good one for Celtic. That's a good group. That's a good group for Celtic. That's a winnable one. Real Madrid, Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic. That's a favourable group for Celtic. Group F, I just said that. It's probably the best one to get, actually. That's a decent group. Decent group, that one there. Next name out the hat. Is Marseille. Marseille are the next team out of the hat. They are in that one there. That's not a bad one there for Celtic. They haven't got a Battle of Britain on the card, but they haven't got the Group of Death. As I say, Marseille are the next team out. And they're going into Group D. They've taken the other good one. Oh my God, Rangers are going to get a howler, I think. I think Rangers might get a howler. They've got Group D. They've got the best one of that one, I think. It's going to be a hard task for Rangers. The rest of the groups are pretty howling, to be perfectly honest. Group D and F are taken. Celtic got F. That was quite a good one for Celtic, actually. The next one out of the hat is... Rangers have got a 1 in 4 chance, by the way, of going into the Group of Death at this stage. It is Copenhagen. Copenhagen are the next side out of the hat. Copenhagen are the next side out of the hat. And they are got the options of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Hopefully they take C, Copenhagen. Hopefully they take C. Hopefully they take C. Come on, please be C. Please be C. Please be C. Please be C. C is... G. They get G, Copenhagen. Oh, Rangers are going to get married up with the Group of Death. You know it's going to be. You know exactly what's coming. I know it's going to be the Group of Death. Man City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund, and Copenhagen make up Group G. Oh, no. Next name out of the hat is... Club Brugge. Club Brugge are the next name out of the hat here. Club Brugge. Club Brugge have the option out of all of them again. A, B, C, E, and H. A, B, C, and H. Club Brugge. Club Brugge. Again, Rangers need someone to go in this C. They don't want C. There's no chance of C. There is literally no chance of getting out of C. Howling. Who are Club Brugge going to get? B. Oh, C is still alive. C is still alive. Rangers could get the group of death here. Rangers could get the group of death. Club Brugge go into another decent one there. Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. Either way, Rangers are going to have to do this the hard way. They've got a howling draw here. There's 4 teams left. The next team out of the hat is... The next team are... The next team out of the hat is... Rangers. Here we go. Rangers are the next team out of the hat. Oh my God, it's 2 options. It's either the group of death or the Battle of Britain. Please be A. 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 It's A or B. A or B. It's group of death or Battle of Britain. A or B. A or B. Here we go. It is... It is... Oh, it's A. It's the Battle of Britain. It's going to be Ajax and Liverpool, Rangers and Napoli. Rangers avoid the group of death. A Battle of Britain. Glasgow Rangers are going to go to Anfield and take on Ajax Amsterdam and take on Napoli. That's not too bad. That is not bad. Oh, that's going to be a good tie, that. Liverpool versus Glasgow Rangers. What a tie that will be. Battle of Britain. Yes, Battle of Britain. Dinamo Zagreb are the next side out the hat. Wow, wow, wow. That Liverpool one is going to be magical. It's going to be magical. It's going to be magical. I'm so glad Rangers don't deserve to be drawn in the group of death. Celtic have got a very good draw there as well, actually. I think both the Scottish guys did pretty well. Out of the 2 options, Group A or B, it had to be A. It had to be A. At least you can look at Ajax and go, oh, yeah, maybe. I'm saying, I'm not no disrespect to Ajax, fantastic side. And same with Napoli. But when you're looking at Bayern, Barca, and Inter Milan, no way. But Group E is Dinamo Zagreb there. Dinamo Zagreb are going to go into Group E. That's the one with Chelsea in. So Zagreb go into Group E. And we've got the final 2 balls to conclude. So we're going to see the group of death. So either Hififa or Victoria Pleasant are going to be going into the group of death. They're going to get absolute hounded. One of these teams are getting hounded in that group. They're either going in C or H. This is the conclude the group of death. Now, here's the last one here, ladies and gentlemen. The last ball out of the hat. Sorry, it's the... To see where we are. H. H. So, yeah, Hafifa, they're going into the group of death as well. PSG, Juventus, Benfica. So that means Victoria Pleasant are going to be that meme with that little skinny girl surrounded by all those guys. I think it's like a scene at the start. But yeah, Victoria Pleasant are going into the group of death. Poor Victoria Pleasant, man. They're going to get absolutely ragged about in there. Poor team. They're going into Group C. Oh my God. They're going into a group with Bayern, Barcelona. I just look at the board, they're like, what? Yeah, Bayern, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and then Victoria Pleasant. Oh my God, that's a howler. That's an absolute howler. But what a tie there for Celtic, by the way. Real Madrid versus Celtic. That's going to be an absolute cracker. So Group A is as follows. Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, and Rangers. Group B is Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. Group C is Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Victoria Pleasant. Group D is Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting Lisbon, and Marseille. So there you go. There's your first 4 groups. So Rangers, as I say, Battle of Britain against Liverpool. And then in Group E, it's AC Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg, and Dinamo. Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic in Group F for Celtic. That's a doable group for them. Group G, Man City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund, Copenhagen. And then Group H, PSG, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa. So let's see if Celtic can beat. RB Leipzig. Let's see if they can do it. They gave the talk last season when Rangers did it. Let's see if Celtic can do it as well. But that's a good group for Celtic. It really is. I think Celtic stand a decent chance. Real Madrid, Leipzig, and Shakhtar Donetsk. Pretty nice group, that. Pretty nice group. Rangers, I'd say Ajax, Liverpool, and Napoli. Rangers got the harder out the two. But look, it is what it is. Rangers need to aim for third and see if they can do it. But guys, thank you so much for it, ladies and gentlemen. Please do smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all later.